there yet.
You need to try and pick off the units as...
Look at the shields on the mark.
Oh my God, the world's gonna take this.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us. This is Cat's Pajamas here for IGN Pro League. Once again, I am joined by Stephen Bonnell, one Root Destiny. Thanks very much for joining us, and congratulations on IPL Season 2 qualification.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously you're a very, very popular member of the community. What kind of made you decide to make the transition from gamer who was popular, enjoyed the game, to full-time professional gamer?
Well, I mean, I've always been popular, and I've always been kind of good. But I mean, a couple months ago, I realized I could make a living by streaming. And with that came a lot more time that I could actually spend playing the game. And with more time spent playing the game, I gradually got better and better. And I think I'm getting close to where I can compete at a really high level.
What do you think is more important for your success as a player? The amount of time you put into the game, or the fact maybe now you're in Roots, the quality of your practice partners, things like that, or is it just kind of a combination thereof?
It's a bit of a combination, but when it comes to good practice, quality always trumps quantity. When you practice, I don't know if there are any musicians in the crowd, but it's similar to practicing a musical instrument. You just practice the same thing over and over again. It's kind of boring. Good practice is usually boring, as opposed to just playing like thousands of ladder games and not trying to learn anything. You know?
Do you switch up your practice whenever you're competing for tournaments like IPL, or do you pretty much stick to the same strategy no matter what you're doing?
Strategy in terms of how I practice?
Yeah, in terms of how you practice. Do you change it up for tournaments?
It kind of depends on how I feel about my game. If I feel my general gameplay is solid, then usually I'll go to the ladder to make sure that there aren't any missing variables. You know? One thing that you can run into problems with if you practice with the same people all the time is you start to learn how to play versus them instead of versus the matchup. If I practice versus Druby all the time, I would start to learn Zerg versus Druby instead of Zerg versus Terran. So if you feel like you're pretty solid with your strategies, it's a good time to go to the ladder just to make sure you're not losing to any kind of odd stuff that you've never seen before with your in-house practice partners.
Do you feel confident going into IPL2?
Pretty confident.
Yeah, absolutely. What are your strongest matchups right now?
I think my ZBT is extremely strong. I'm very, very, very confident in my Zerg versus Terran. I've beaten some pretty high-name players pretty convincingly on the ladder recently. So.
Are you doing anything different that a lot of Zerg players aren't right now?
I don't get Mutalisks or Banelings pretty much at all my matchup. The heavy Zerg metagame before the Infestor patch was Mutaling Bling. And I mean, you'll see pretty much all high-level Zergs do that. I don't play like that at all. Usually I opt for very high Infestor counts and much quicker tier 3.
Sure. Is this something that you think is eventually going to catch on in terms of like, do you see the metagame shifting, I guess, more than anything else?
It's really hard to say because pro players are very, very, very stubborn in how they play. Like sometimes it'll take them a long time to switch. But I mean, if I start making a lot of big impressions, then maybe people will start to switch up. Kind of similar to how Zergs always used to open, 14 gas, 13 pool.
Right.
And now they've kind of switched towards, people call it the spin Ishiwa style, but delay the gas a lot in favor of more minerals early on.
Well, let's talk about esports in general right now. People generally agree that there's been a rise in popularity, certainly in StarCraft 2, but in other esports as well. There's new options, people streaming. Obviously, you're a great example of people that stream and are able to make a living off of that. Do you think that we're going to have this continued sustained success for a few years in esports, or is it going to naturally taper off as we go along?
One thing that I've learned in doing StarCraft 2 full-time is that you don't have enough time to do more than one thing. And right now, all I do is play. I don't cast or anything else. So when people ask me questions about like esports, I would say I'm not even qualified to answer. Like, I don't even keep up with the scene enough to know like all the different, how's the NASL doing in terms of popularity compared to the IPL, how's everything. So I couldn't even tell you. I mean, it looks like the StarCraft 2 community is growing a lot, which is really cool to me because as a member of the Brood War community, all I saw was dying and becoming more stagnant as time went on. So I hope that the growth continues, but in terms of like how is it actually going to do, I don't think I'm really qualified to answer that.
Yeah, fair answer. I appreciate you having that perspective. So what would you be doing then if you weren't a pro gamer right now?
I have no idea. The job I had before this was cleaning carpets professionally, so maybe that's still, it's hard to say.
Absolutely, I understand. So, well, thanks very much for joining us. Do you have any shout-outs or anything like that you want to give on camera?
I'd love to give a shout-out to Root Gaming. I've improved a tremendous amount since I've joined. It's undeniable how much I've improved. I'll also give a shout-out to Cloud9 Labs because they rebuilt my website, and it's really cool. I've been using it for my lesson schedule and everything.
Looks good.
My website is root-destiny.com.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And guys, don't forget, this is Cat's Pajamas. If you guys want to check out any more IPL Season 2 content, be sure to join us at www.ign.com/IPL. We'll catch you next time.